October 1944. Dawn crept over a muddy road in Eastern Europe as fog clung low to the ground and engines growled somewhere beyond the trees. A young infantryman pressed his back against a broken wall, fingers numb, heart pounding, listening as the sound grew heavier and slower. Tanks. Big ones. German Tigers. Each step they took shook the earth, and every man nearby knew what that meant. Armor like castles. Guns that could tear a house apart. Against that, they had rifles, fear, and one idea everyone laughed at. They laughed because the idea sounded insane, even desperate, like a bad joke told before death arrived. A glass whiskey bottle, filled with fuel, stuffed with cloth, and lit by hand. A Molotov. Against Tiger tanks. The most feared machines of the war. Even his own unit shook their heads. Some called it suicide. Others called it a waste of good alcohol. But the laughter didn't last long. The Tigers kept coming, slow and confident, because German crews trusted their steel and their past victories, and they had every reason to. For years, Tiger tanks had ruled the battlefield, crushing defenses, surviving hits that would destroy anything else, and breaking enemy lines through pure force and fear. These weren't ordinary machines. They were legends wrapped in steel, each one worth 10 ordinary tanks, each crew trained for months, each gun capable of killing from distances other tanks could only dream of. Their crews felt untouchable, and many were. The man with the bottle had no rank to boast about, no medal, no famous name. He was tired, dirty, and scared like everyone else, but he also saw something the others didn't. He saw how close the road ran to the buildings, how the Tigers had to slow down to turn, and how their engines ran hot after hours of movement. He noticed the commander in the lead tank wasn't scanning the ruins properly, focused instead on the road ahead. He saw a weakness. So he waited, breathing slowly, trying to stop his hands from shaking. Quick thing before we continue, hit subscribe if you want more incredible World War II stories like this. Because this one only gets more intense from here, and we tell stories like this every single week. German tank doctrine relied on power and shock, and the Tiger embodied that idea perfectly, with thick armor, a deadly gun, and an engine that roared like a monster. But that power came with problems, because Tigers were heavy, slow to turn, and vulnerable from above and behind when forced into tight spaces. The engine deck, where cooling vents pulled in air to keep the massive engine from overheating, was thinner than the front armor. Designers knew this, but they gambled that infantry would never get close enough to exploit it. That gamble worked, until it didn't. Crews knew this weakness existed, but they rarely believed infantry would get close enough to matter. Most didn't live long enough to try. As the first Tiger rolled past the ruined wall, its tracks grinding stone into dust, the infantryman pulled back, letting it pass, then another and another, counting under his breath while the heat from their engines washed over him like an open furnace. Sweat mixed with dirt on his face. His rifle lay beside him, useless against what was coming. His hands shook as he lit the rag, the flame small but angry, and for a second he hesitated, because once he stepped out, there was no running back. This was it. Do or die. Literally. Then he moved. He sprinted 2 steps, rose from cover, and hurled the bottle with everything he had, watching it spin through the air, end over end, before smashing against the engine deck. Fire exploded outward, fuel spreading instantly, flames licking vents and grills designed to cool a massive engine now trapped inside a burning shell. The Tiger shuddered. It slowed. Black smoke poured out, thick and choking. Inside, temperatures spiked. Warning lights flashed. The crew panicked. Hatches flew open as men tried to escape the heat, but rifle fire cut them down, and the tank rolled to a stop, burning fiercely, blocking the narrow road behind it. Flames spread across the metal, finding every gap, every weakness. The second Tiger tried to push forward, but couldn't pass. Its commander screamed orders, but there was nowhere to go. The third slowed. The fourth backed up. Confusion spread faster than the flames. Another bottle flew. Then another. Then 3 more from different positions, because the infantryman wasn't alone anymore. Other soldiers saw it work and grabbed their own bottles, their own rags, their own desperate courage. Fire rained down, splashing across steel, seeping into weak points, turning armor into an oven, and within minutes, for Tiger tanks burned in place, their crews dead or fleeing, their power reduced to twisted, smoking wrecks that littered the road. The smell of burning fuel and metal filled the air. Infantry cheered. The Germans ran. The laughter was gone, replaced by something fiercer. Hope. Molotov cocktails weren't new, but many armies underestimated them, seeing them as crude weapons for partisans and last stands, not tools that could stop elite armor. Soviet troops had used them during the Winter War against Finland, and Finnish forces turned them back against Russian tanks with devastating effect. But by 1944, professional armies still treated them as desperate measures, not legitimate tactics. The truth was simpler and more brutal. Fire didn't care how thick your armor was, and engines needed air to breathe. When fire found both, even a Tiger could die. Word spread quickly. German units reported losses they couldn't explain, tanks destroyed not by guns, but by flames thrown from the shadows. Commanders filed reports that sounded impossible. Battle-hardened crews grew nervous in towns and forests, scanning rooftops and windows, firing wildly at anything that moved, wasting ammunition on ghosts. The fear shifted. Now the hunters felt hunted. Tank crews who once drove with confidence now hesitated at every corner, every alley, every pile of rubble that could hide a man with a bottle. For the infantryman, there was no celebration, no parade, just another night, another position, another bottle to fill if supplies allowed. He'd learned something important that day, something war teaches brutally fast. You don't beat a giant by matching its strength. You beat it by finding where it can't protect itself. By finding the moment when confidence becomes weakness. Across the Eastern Front, similar stories played out as soldiers adapted, using fire, teamwork, and courage to face machines designed to crush them. Tanks still ruled open fields, but in close spaces, in villages and broken cities, the balance changed, and every German tanker knew it. A single man with a bottle could end everything. Training manuals were rewritten. Tactics changed. Fear became a weapon itself. By late 1944, Tiger losses mounted, not because they were weak, but because war had changed around them. Fuel ran low. Crews trained faster, with less experience. Repairs took longer. Supply lines stretched thin. And enemies learned. Improvised weapons, once mocked, became nightmares, and German commanders warned their men to never underestimate infantry again. But by then, it was too late. The infantryman survived the war, though history forgot his name, like so many others who did impossible things with whatever they had. He never claimed to be a hero, only that he did what he had to do, when there was no other choice, and sometimes, that's enough to change everything. He went home, lived quietly, and only told the story once to his grandson, who barely believed it. Those 4 burning Tigers didn't just block a road. They proved a point that echoed across battlefields everywhere. Power alone doesn't win wars. Adaptation does. Courage does. And sometimes, all it takes is one moment, one idea, and one thrown bottle to remind the strongest force in the world that it isn't invincible. By the end of the war, thousands of German tanks lay destroyed, many by weapons their crews never believed could hurt them. The lesson was clear and brutal. Underestimate your enemy, and even the smallest flame can bring down a giant. Thanks for watching this story of how a mocked idea turned into a battlefield nightmare. Next time, we'll cover another moment when confidence turned into disaster. Subscribe so you don't miss it.